Hello, welcome back to the chapter 6, 7, and 9 review. This is going to be a video for problems 6 through 10. And number 6 says, find the exact value of 7 pi over 12. And so because we don't, on our unit circle, we don't have any pi over 12s, but I could make a common denominator of 12 with either 3, 6, or 3, 4, or 6. And I'm going to use combinations of pi over 3 and pi over 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at pi over 3 is the same as 4 pi over 12. So I'm going to use pi over 3. And then pi over 4 is the same as 3 pi over 12. So that means if I add 4 pi over 12 and 3 pi over 12, I get 7 pi over 12. So I can use the addition. I can see the sign of 7 pi over 12 is the same as 4 pi over 12 plus 3 pi over 12. And that can be the same as pi over 3 plus pi over 4. And so I'm going to go to my 6.2 identities, my sum and difference identities, and I'm going to look at the sign of a plus b. That's what I'm going to use as the sign of a plus b, where a is pi over 3 and b is pi over 4. So I'm going to take the sign of pi over 3 times the cosine of pi over 4 plus the cosine of pi over 3 times the sine of pi over 4. Go back to my unit circle here for this information, and I can see that the sine at pi over 3 is the square root of 3 over 2 times the cosine at pi over 4, which is square root of 2 over 2, plus the cosine at pi over 3 is 1/2 times the sine at pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. So this is the work I would be expecting you to show me on the test. So this comes out to be the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. Let's move to question number 7. So we have 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7 is over a parabola, asking us for the vertex and the focus. And go ahead and get out your notes for chapter 9. That will help you. And I can tell by the setup that it's y squared equals 12x. So it's a horizontal parabola. I'm going to be following all the directions for horizontal up here, horizontal. So it's going to be everything over here. And this one, my vertex is at 0, 0. And my focus is at P0. And I know from the base formula that y squared equals 4px. So px equals 12, 4p equals 12. So if I divide by 4, I can find out that p equals 3. So my focus is at 3, 0. Make sure that you write them in a coordinate form. And then number 8 has my vertex of this parabola, it's also a parabola, is at 3 and 1 because of the way it's written, x minus h and y minus k. So it's at 3 and 1, that's my h and k. And a -4 equals that 4p. So if I divide by 4, I know that p equals -1. We're going to need that. And then for my focus on this one, it is at h comma k plus p, because this time it is a vertical because it's x squared equals 4py. So this is a vertical parabola. And my h is 3, and then it's k, which is 1, plus a negative 1. So my focus is at 3, 0 again. Then we have problem number 9 is an ellipse. And an ellipse is when the A is always bigger than B, which is always bigger than 0. And that is in lesson 9.2. And we can tell that this one is a vertical because, I'm sorry, this one is a horizontal because A is on the X, which is on the horizontal axis. So this is a horizontal ellipse. And my center is at a -1, a -2 for H and K, because it's X minus a -1 and Y minus a -2. And A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 4. And then we're going to need to find C for the ellipse. And C is equal to the square root of A squared minus B squared. So that's going to be the square root of 25 minus 16, or the square root of 9 is 3. And so I'm going to find my vertices because there's 2 of them. And I'm going to find them right here. My vertices are H minus A and K, and then H plus A comma K. So that's going to be H minus A comma K, which is a -1 minus 5 comma a -2. So that one is a -6, -2. And then the other one is H plus A comma K. And so that's a -1 plus 5 comma a -2. So that one's at +4 a -2. And then my foci, there's 2 of those. Those fall at H minus C comma K and H plus C comma K. Again, H being a -1, and then C is 3, so it's subtracting 3 comma -2, and then a -1 plus 3 comma a -2. So those fall at a -4, -2, and 2, -2. For the ellipse. And then our last shape is a hyperbola. And for this one, I really just want you to be able to identify some pieces. We can see that it's not off center at all with the x squared and the y squared. So my center is at 0, 0. And I just want to know what A and B are. So x is subtracting y squared on the hyperbola. And that means when it's x squared minus y squared, it means it's a horizontal. It's horizontal. And A is not necessarily bigger than B in the hyperbola, but A and B are both greater than 0. You can see that here and here. But because we have x squared minus the y squared, this is what we're going to use for our foci and our vertices. But then that means it's our A squared and our B squared. So our A is 3 and B is equal to 5. And if you can redo these questions and get the answers correct all on your own without checking the answers in between, you should be very well prepared. And hope you have a great day.